So first question is, what does mindfulness mean to you? And again, you can take a couple minutes to think about it before placing it in the chat or talking about it out loud. Unless you're Steven, then you can't talk about it out loud because there'll be feedback and background noise. And there's no right or wrong here, just kind of what you think about mindfulness.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think mindfulness is, you know, we hear that word intention a lot, or like awareness and like consciously really thinking about things, or, you know, as I go about like daily life, right? Not just kind of rolling through, but mindfully or consciously or intentionally doing things in a certain way.
Yeah, thank you for sharing.
I think of it as like being present in the moment and your surroundings, and not just and around you, and not just paddling through, you know, taking time to look around and being aware, I guess.
Yeah, that's perfect. Thank you for sharing. Stephen, do you have anything you'd like to add? In the chat? While I'm sharing my screen, I can't read the chat. So thank you for sharing that. And I will see the chat later. I appreciate it.
He wrote, being aware of actions and their impact on you and others.
Very good. Thank you. Yes, perfect. And all of that is correct, of course. Again, like I said, there's no one right or wrong answer. But this was kind of a, in my research, a more general combination of a definition that I found. So mindfulness, maintaining a moment-to-moment awareness of your thoughts, feelings, body, and environment with a nurturing and accepting lens. So I think that is one thing that maybe we didn't mention before, is keeping in mind that it is a non-judgmental and accepting lens of kind of life and how your thoughts, your feelings, your body, etc. So obviously not always an easy thing to do, but again, just a goal that we're working towards. Perfect. And I think it's another thing that I like to think about is just really when we tune into what we are sensing in the present moment versus kind of rehashing the past or imagining what's coming up in the future as well. Cool. And then next question, and this is going to be kind of personal to each of you, but do you practice mindfulness regularly? If so, how do you incorporate mindfulness? And if not, what would you like to start incorporating? And again, just a couple minutes, you can think about it. And a lot of them are probably things that you do regularly that you don't even realize that you could be kind of doing them mindfully and practicing mindfulness in that way. So again, no judgment. We are just asking.
I think, I mean, for me, there are times where, it sort of comes in, I don't want to say comes in waves maybe, but that's what the phrase that comes to mind. It's like, there are times I feel like a good job where I get into a really good routine and I get up in the morning and I will start with more of those like traditional things that we think of that help kind of mindfulness, right? Like some meditations or yoga in general. I would say lately I have not done a good job of incorporating. Some of that has kind of gone out the window with just stressors at work and life. But yeah, so I think for me, incorporating, kind of getting back into that routine a bit, incorporating some of those things that I know make me feel good and how I, kind of start my day, but just haven't been so good at lately.
Yeah. That happens when stress comes. We tend to let the things go that we need the most.
It's so true. It's like counterintuitive, right? It's like you think, well, if I just keep going, right, I'll get it all done. Whereas actually stopping and slowing things down and kind of processing through and kind of clearing the mind actually helps you to accomplish those things. But it somehow feels, like counterintuitive.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing.
I'm definitely more task oriented, task to task to task. I don't slow down enough. Definitely, I don't. But yeah, I'd like to find some ways to do that, because I'm just always go, 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 go,
Yeah, no, for sure. There are so many ways that we can incorporate mindfulness into our days and into our routines. As Bree had mentioned, she talked about kind of meditation and yoga, which was, one thing that we did just practice together, but there's also so many different ways that you can incorporate mindfulness kind of in your day-to-day activity. Like you can even practice mindfulness while brushing your teeth or eating, or, doing like a mindful, doing like a walking meditation. So there are so many ways that you can kind of incorporate it day to day. Perfect. So with that, I wanted to just kind of talk through several different examples and ways of incorporating that mindfulness that we're all looking to incorporate more, it seems like, and kind of in a more regular routine. So a few ways to kind of cultivate that mindfulness and practice mindfulness. So we have kind of pay attention to your breathing. So we did the breath work exercises at the beginning, but we'll also do some more kind of mindful breathing and more specific mindful breathing in a little bit as one of our exercises. So that's definitely something that you can do day to day, just kind of noticing your breath and noticing how you're breathing, where it sits in your body, how you feel when you're breathing. All those things can be done at any point in your day or at any time. And then the second one is really noticing and using your senses. So in particular, sight, sounds, and smells. And just starting to kind of pull your awareness away from everything and kind of focusing it more on one thing at a time. And again, that is something that we will practice in a little bit. One of our exercises, we'll practice focusing on sight, sound, smell, as well as number 4, physical sensations, so touch and taste, which is why we have our either raisin or dried fruit or something. That's one of our exercises. And then thoughts and emotions are fleeting and don't define you. So kind of going back to that non-judgmental and noticing your thoughts, but not buying into the story of your thoughts. So letting them, say what they have to say. If you need to or want to physically write them down to get them out of your head, and then get rid of them. They're there, you thought about it, and now it's done. It doesn't define who you are and what you're all about. And then the last one, as I had kind of briefly mentioned, is having kind of micro moments or mini moments throughout your day. So even like the 2 or 3 minutes that you're brushing your teeth, really paying attention and noticing and being aware of the bristles on your gums versus on your teeth, and the taste of your toothpaste and how it feels differently from the front of your mouth to the back of your mouth, or top versus upper versus bottom. So just kind of little micro moments of the day where you can just turn your attention inward and just kind of choose specific pieces of things to focus on can really help cultivate that mindfulness. And as anything, you know, the more we practice, the better we get at it, and the more that we can, it'll more easily kind of fall into our day. Any questions on any of those, or anyone want to add anything or want me to elaborate on any of them?
I don't think so.
Good. Okay. Perfect.